JARA. Welcome to JARA Garden. And today we're in a very new part of the garden, near our first dwelling. So this video will be on our progress, the construction of our first home, in terms of foundation, roof support, temporary roofing, tarping, as well as materials, where to find strong and budget-friendly materials for those building that are watching their coin purse, so to speak. So in this area, we're on the back of the acreage. Not much has been filmed about this area before because we were planning on putting a dwelling here. And as you can see, abracazum. What you're seeing is our temporary roofing structure for certain things we want to keep dry, making use of some makeshift tarping. And we also have tree limbs here, they're called drias. These we did not cut. There are people that make palm wine around this forest. And for those who don't know, when you harvest palm wine, you cut down a palm tree. Unfortunately, they also cut down any trees growing close by. And they don't use them, so they either go back as regeneration to the forest. So to honor the trees, and so I don't have to cut anymore, I'll go and ask them, hey, are you going to use this wood or use this? And these is what I have acquired. So these we are saving for the home. There's plenty more in there drying. There's also some firewood. I'll take the camera around shortly and show you. And this is our tarpaulin. They call tarps in Ghana tarpaulin. So if you're doing a search on gg.com or looking for the material, that's what it's called. This is specifically damp-proof membrane. It comes in different microns. Our thickness is 300 microns. 300 is really good. I recommend it because it's strong, it's durable. It'll last a long time. It's sturdy, you can see it's tied. And it's not that heavy. 500 micron is better, it's more durable, but it's a lot heavier. And you buy it by the roll. So our roll was 4 meters by 25 meters. And the reason it comes like this material is normally used for flooring as a vapor barrier. When you're laying flooring, to prevent moisture from wicking up. For temporary roofing, this is adequate. So this roll, we shipped it from Accra. I want this. Hey, God bless. Yami Adam. Wapome. So the people here, there's a trail that runs through the property to a huge farm, just bringing in some fresh coconuts. So this tarpaulin is shipped from Accra. The 4 meter by 25 meter roll was 1,200 cedis. At the time of the conversion rate, that's about 120 US. So very good. This is temporary roofing. This will only last about a year, 3 years, depending how close you are to the coast, if you're not washing it or protecting it. So don't use this as final roofing, it's just temporary roofing. Now for our home, the site, it's a circular dwelling, this one. So our diameter of the circle is 6.5 meters. And then we have an additional push out for a washroom and a kitchen, just so the space feels that much bigger. So for the 4 meter by 25 meter roll, we need about 8 meter by 8 meter to cover the circle of the home. So what we did, we rolled it out after we cleared this area, and we cut 4 meter by 8 meter sections. So we did 2 cuts total, and that gave us 2 4-meter by 8-meter pieces. That makes our 8-meter by 8-meter tarp. And then we have other extra scrap tarp left over that we can use for rainwater collection, throwing over wood, and the other projects that we need. Now, initially, we actually sewed the tarps together down the middle and had them running on a support. And that actually worked surprisingly well. I was joking about, since I've been here, we've had no major storms. Well, I should say this, we've had storms, but nothing with lightning and thunder. I thought, man, it's kind of weird there's been no lightning on this mountain. And then 3 days later, we had a huge lightning storm and windstorm. And the good thing is our tarp was really secured. But if you over secure a tarp, it becomes like a giant sail on a sailboat. And if you're not flanking the wind right, the wind will catch the sail. And because this is a strong tarp, 300 microns, it created so much updraft and lift. It actually lifted some of the supports up. So right now we just have it as our temporary roofing. What we're doing once our stone foundation is finished, we'll be putting in our tree logs here and then building the final roof. We're probably going with alu zinc panels or slate. And we might experiment with an earth and clay plaster solution, but that will be a lot more time consuming. So I'll make a separate video when we reach the roofing stage. But let's look at what we are going forward with currently, and that is the foundation and the stones. And for that, I will bring you closer into a tour of the dwelling of JARA Garden. Let us take a closer look. Here you can see the outline of our circle. We just simply put a stick in the middle, measured with the string, and then we excavated this with a shovel. I should say I excavated this. I learned a lot about digging. And something we can make use of for the dwelling, I can show you here. I have about, I'd say, 50 centimeters of topsoil here, iron-rich clay, and then hard rock in this area. You can see it kind of here. Now, it's not bedrock. You can easily cut it with a hammer or a shovel if you strike it well. So for this home construction, we're making use of the fact that there's stable hard rock here. So under our walls, we're building a stone foundation using stone, ash, hydrated lime powder, gravel, you can see, and sand. We'll be using the sand and termite mound soil to make some mortar. Right now we're dry fitting the rocks, interlocking them. These we actually all carried up from the sea, me and my Empress. Very good exercise. And because a lot of plots have been purchased around this area, the sea is close to our land, but you don't want to take stones from people's land, so we have to go quite a distance. Very good workout. As far as purchasing sand and stone, our location is very, and we're on top of a mountain. So the prices for getting a 14.5 cubic truckload of sand and stone is almost double the normal rate. That might come down for us, but that's the best we have found. And Once they get to the village close to here, which is Boutre, if they see the mountain, sometimes they'll charge extra, and that can create a whole fiasco. So for now, we're seeing how much we can do by ourselves. A 6.5 meter home with some room push-outs isn't that big. So really it comes down to time and budget if we go for buying the sand and stones. Right now we're making our progress. This gravel is from site. In the back of the land, there's a steep hill that goes down the mountain, and that has a lot of exposed rock and a lot of gravel that we can collect. For the stone wall, we'll keep interlocking them. You see over here, this is closer to the first layer. This is about the height we'll get. Then we'll make a slurry of sand, termite mound soil, which we have a lot of. I'll probably add in some ash and some hydrated lime powder. And then we'll pour that over like a slurry. And then we'll continue to interlock stones with the mortar. And we'll build it up to 50 centimeters above ground, about there. And then we'll start the earthen walls on top of that. And that'll also let us embed our drill logs, make the frame of the walls. And then we can sturdy that, put in supports, make a frame for the roof, use our roof paneling, probably aloe zinc, and then we can start adding the clay walls. These are all salvage materials. Some people had come and they cut some big trees. This is closer to Busha. And they left all these scrap cuttings they said we could collect. These I'm saving to make amazing countertops, shelves, tables. I'm very excited to get into woodworking, carpentry, and carving. Here we have some firewood drying, some extra sticks. This is leftover damp proof or tarpaulin. We have some more near our other water tank. I'll take you around the back. We continue in the circle, and then we have a push out. This is for the washroom. Then we have a slight push out here for the kitchen. This dwelling will be used mainly while we're building the larger home. Where we're staying now, the lease is up. And about halfway through this year. And the larger home would take a lot more time and has some fancier materials in it. So things like stained glass, that's pretty hard to source. Beams as well, certain stone pillars. So this lets us get moved in so that we get out of the rent trap. And then when the larger dream home is finished, we can have friends stay here or Airbnb it, that sort of thing. It also lets us test our building methods. It's very important if you're doing an earthen home or anything for the first time. Test it on a smaller scale, see how it works, holds up, before you go for the full thing. All right. I'll come back to the dwelling in another video. In this area, I have planted things strategically. So let's go see how they're doing in a tour. Another thing, you can see the soil that's been dug up. So lots of rock, lots of gravel. Lots of sand and soil. This you can screen. I'm building a screen right now with mosquito net, and that way I can shovel this into the screen and produce our own sand and aggregate. That can help us get the materials we need without having to have a big old truck drive up a mountain to get here. Here we have a soursop. This is doing surprisingly well. Most things, when they are planted straight in the clay soil, they'll grow, but it takes them a really long time. And they might need some extra care to get started off. This is doing well, just straight in the clay. It's one of the first things planted here. So this I've just kind of set and forget. I don't add much to it. I put a few mulch here, some dead rod, a nice rock. But other than that, it's just getting natural water, nothing extra, and it's growing. Delicious soursop. We have a new coconut friend over here. I love planting coconuts. I figured out very good methods. I've covered it in another coconut video. I have Coconut Guardian if you're interested. When we first got this land, there was one mature coconut on it. Now we have 30 coconuts growing. And I love coconuts. Coconut oil, coconut cake, coconut cream, just eating and drink it. It's my favorite drink on earth, even above water. Doing very well. One of the best things I discovered, it's hard to get ice cream out in this rural area. And you can kind of chop a coconut so that you don't open it, but you have the smaller shell inside. And what we did, we just put it in the fridge. After a day of hard work, we went and got it from the fridge, opened it up, and it was like drinking the best coconut ice cream you've had in your life, like coconut gelato. It was delicious. So that's my ice cream hack if you're vegan or anything of that nature. Here's another coconut. This one's in a tougher spot. The sun in this area, it rises here, travels, and sets there. So this is actually blocking a lot of sunlight would get. So I'll slowly thin out the palm fronds here. I don't want to do it too quickly so the tree has time to adjust. But it's still growing good. And mulching really helps if you have clay soil. Putting things around with a lot of fresh green produces a lot of nitrogen that grows plants quickly. Some cassava here, getting started. It's a few days old. Cassava is like potato, sweet potato. They grow very tall and they have massive roots. You can feed one person for a week just off one cassava harvest. And it's the thing that grows best in our soil here. So we plant a lot of it. Here's a pineapple. Every pineapple we eat, we plant. That philosophy is carrying over to everything we eat. We're mostly plant-based, vegan, a lot of fruit. Any seeds from oranges, from soursop, from apples, we nurse and save. And we plant far more than we eat. On the short term, it doesn't seem much. You're putting in a lot of work. But as time goes on and the plants grow, the return on the investment is massive. You'll just have fruit for days. And we approach ever closer to self-sustainability. Here's interesting. This is guava. This is weird. This is turned. Looks like the guava's going this way now. I wonder why. This I placed here just to block some shade when it was starting out. Although this is ready. Guava likes a lot of sun. We'll free that from its shade soon. Here's a natural native medicine. Very good for throat, skin, irritation. The butterflies love it. And we have here, this is actually an hibiscus branch. Hibiscus you can take off a tree and it'll grow if you replant the stem. That's what we've done here. We got 3 growing in one spot, and they're companion plants. Oh, you can see a baby cricket here. They got cool patterns in Ghana, black and gold. You can eat that leaf, that's fine. Don't eat my guava though. Unless the birds will get ya. All right. Show you in this area. Oh, here's our fire pit. You can see my Empress here cleared this patch from burning the fire. Because there's a lot of termites on the property, our finished dwelling will have no exposed wood on the outside. And we're taking many measurements termite proof. And ash, fire ash is a very good insect, animal, termite repellent. So we're adding ash at every stage of the building process. Termite proof the home. Here's another pineapple. Placed kind of close to the fire here, so I built up a barrier. If you're ever worried about a plant getting scorched close by a fire, just put some water on it beforehand and add something else that stays wet. That'll protect the pineapple. Alright. Put that over here. There's also, for that outcropping there, we're going to put a water tank to collect all the rainwater from the roof here. Alright, here we have our first dates. For those that don't know dates, they are the delicious fruit. I think they grow in India and Pakistan, Iran. And if you've had caramel before, it's like caramel toffee, but natural. It's delicious. Caramel was my favorite candy as a kid, or caramel as they say. So to find something naturally growing in nature that tastes like caramel but better, it's amazing. We bought the dried seeds at the market. The dried dates, I should say. They sell them a lot in Ghana. You have to soak them longer than you'd think. Maybe 3, 4, 5 days. Then plant them. You soak in water. Nurse them and they'll start growing. We nursed these in water bags, poly bags, until they got about this big. And I dug a hole deep down. I took some palm fronds and built a slight raised bed and filled that with soil too. Because palm trees, they like to send a long taproot down. You want it, break up the clay soil as much as you can, make it easier for that taproot, and then it will start to spread out. We have 4 date trees growing. Another one here. Well, and another here. One's got a spiral going, trying to catch the sun. And don't worry too much about planting close to other trees. I learned you can always cut back branches. You can always make space where you want to in the garden. And don't be too afraid to cut. As long as you're not cutting the roots of something, the plant will grow back, and they grow back quick here. Here's the 4th date. I'll show you. Over here we have a mature palm tree. Also, you can see here, I started pre-digging holes. Take it in. I found when you plant coconuts, they grow a lot faster if you dig the hole some time before. Fill it with leaves, dead wood, some compost, and it kind of lets the spirit of the land be ready to accept a new coconut. Then you add it in the soil, and it comes fast. Here you can see a mature palm tree, and this is what the palm fruit looks like. Here. Right now they're very hard, they're not ready for harvest. When they're ready, they turn bright red and orange, and they'll fall on the tree. So to tell when it's ready, you don't look here, you look at the bottom. If you see bright red spots, then you look up for the fruit, you'll see one that's ready. And you cut palm fronds, and there'll be kind of like a flower bud stalk here that's pretty strong. Got to get a good machete strike. And then the weight will add a ton of weight because there's a bunch of fat that turns it red. Will come out. And then you can harvest the palm frond. Hables. Some fresh coconuts. The farm is deep in the glade. Safe travels. I'd say it's about a 5-minute walk down that way. Here we have mango tree. Going well. Close out the video. There's plenty of cassava growing everywhere.